The first thing that I'll just say is, why do we do this? So a lot of people will ask, you're making jet engines, you're making power generation technology, MRI machines. Why do you need to be on social? Why do you need to be producing digital content? And we think about three things from the brand standpoint. The first is brand awareness, understanding, positive engagement with the brand. Most people know us for what they see in their homes, but may not know that we power many of the planes that they're flying. They may not know that we produce healthcare technology. They may not know that we produce power generation technology. And so as people talk about brands and have opinions about companies, it's important for us to make sure that we're building an understanding of what GE does. It's a little echoey. Is that? Oh, all right, okay, cool. All right. I'll try and be gentle with it. The second thing that we think about is the talent pipeline. So as we've got young engineers and software developers and business leaders who are thinking about Apple and Facebook and all these other companies, how do we make sure that GE is in that consideration set? And then the third thing that we think about, and we're thinking more and more about, is the next generation of retail investors. So we're a very widely held retail stock in the US, and how do we make sure that the next generation of those investors are considering GE? So now I'm going to jump into some case studies and some of the work that we've done. The first thing that I'll talk about is Instagram, and we've been on Instagram for a while. You guys have probably seen it, and I still talk about it because I think it was a really important. So we believe in experimentation. We believe in being first movers on new platforms as long as they make sense for the brand, and Instagram was certainly kind of one of the first areas where we did this. And it helped us develop our voice and develop a lot of our visual voice. And out of a lot of this work, it became clear to us that using visual storytelling, leading with visual storytelling, would help us tell more complicated stories. So we'd been on the platform for a little while. At the end of last year, we thought maybe there's a great opportunity to not just put the photography out there, but invite people in. And so we started running Insta Walks. And the first one we ran in Peebles, Ohio, which is a jet engine test facility. It's in the middle of a forest. It's very hard to get to. Few people get to see it. Few people are allowed to see it. But for all the people who've been following our feed for years, the question was, how do we get in? How do we get a tour? How can we see this firsthand? And what I love about this example and the Insta Walks that we continue to run is that when we started, we kind of said, we're not a shoe, we're not a drink, we can't put something in your hands, we can't put a jet engine in your hands. But through this experience, we actually had 12 people walk up to a jet engine and spin the blades and touch it and get up close with it. So, in some of the content efforts that we run, we want to reach a broad audience, we want to make sure that we're efficient from a reach standpoint, but sometimes there are experiences that you create that will stay with 12 people forever, and it's a bit of a slower burn, but it's so meaningful. So in this case, we had 6 Instagram influencers and 6 GE superfans that we put a call out for on our Instagram feed, join us in Peebles. The other really cool thing about this was that for people who are on Instagram, many of them are following these influencers and are fans of these influencers. So there's the added bonus of getting an inside look at the technology and then also getting to meet these kind of stars that are special to you and who you've been following. And for us, it was just such a cool opportunity to bring a new humanity and a new creative perspective to our technology. Nobody had thought to do a jumping shot in front of our wind tunnel before. It was so awesome. And, at the beginning of the whole effort, our aviation team, who are amazing partners to us and generally move quickly with us, we had to solve how we would allow for cell phones on the factory floor. Like, I got a call 24 hours before the InstaWalk that was like, we can't have cell phones on the factory floor. And I was like, well, Instagram is a mobile app, so we're gonna have to figure this out. And by the end of it, they were like, how can we help you launch the second one? And can we use this imagery for our own brand imagery? And what I think is so special about this and this experience is it's helping us move forward from a culture standpoint, and it's also impacting so much more than just our digital voice, because now we're thinking about, well, is our Instagram imagery brand imagery, and does it show up in our print ads? So experimentation can really lead to much broader work, depending on how it goes. The other thing that we've been really conscious of doing is working with Instagram photographers. So this photo is from a gentleman named Adam Senatori, who we found through a contest a couple years ago. And we put out a call for people to take photos that were inspired by the way GE works in the world. He ended up winning. He was a commercial pilot. He now does aerial photography, and we took him to one of our facilities in the UK, and he lost his mind. Like, he knew everything that was happening, and I was like, I'm going to put you on staff. Like, he has continued to work with us ever since, covering all the air shows for us. So the depth of the talent that's on the platform and the humanity of the experiences that you can build from these kinds of moments for us has been really important.